Well, yo, welcome everybody to another episode 30 of the Good Foot Podcast. This is your boy Q, and we are getting into raw and real conversation for the dance community. And I'm here with my brother, Brice Professor Lock Johnson. What's good,
Ew.
man? Pew, 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 pew.
We
Bryce.
should. We should. Yeah. This is it's cool. I like this. A nice even number 30. I like that.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, three. The number of I'm just thinking of supreme mathematics.
Yeah.
The number of
It's also
understanding, I
it's
believe.
also the
I was
number.
looking.
It's the number. It's also the number of God. It's God, the number that reflects God. If we're talking biblically, if you're of that proclivity.
Yes, sir. And then the zero is my favorite number. Just representing the cipher, the
Yeah.
circle
Oh
of
yeah.
continuity.
Yeah.
So yes. We
Everything coming full
perpetuate.
circle.
Yes, exactly. So this is a perfect, beautiful episode number, and man, we are just grateful to be here with you and to hear and sense your wisdom and your experience in this dance field and all the ways in which it has impacted you and you have impacted it. And so yeah, we're really grateful to have you on here, and so thanks for stepping on and prioritizing time to be with us.
No doubt.
Hey
No
y'all,
doubt.
I just want to read a little bit of Bryce's bio so that you get a little sense of what he's about, what he does. And then Bryce, if there's anything that you want to extrapolate on after that, please do. Does that sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Dope. So, Brice Professor Lock Johnson, a devoted father, husband, coach, and entertainer specializing in dance and acting, aims to bring peace of mind to his global audience of close to 147,000. That's right, with a T, capital T. His signature phrase and social media movement, have you dance today, which I have not, so I need to get on that. Inspiring emotional and mental fitness worldwide. Brice guides individuals in coaching sessions to discover their true identity for a fulfilling life. Renowned for his TED Talk, We Dance How We Live, and his impactful classes, workshops, and aspirational speeches, Brice has touched lives in nearly 20 countries, teaching over 1,500 students from professionals to beginners. Across all platforms, he commands an audience that he hopes to serve, inspire, and bring light to with every encounter. With the mantra, never sacrifice your groove to find the move, Brice emphasizes that your true self is your greatest dance. And I also have to just add on a personal touch. I don't know if I ever told you, I think I did, that the first time I laid eyes on you and your essence was on TV with So You
Oh
Think You Can
shoot.
Dance, and the indubitably character and
Wow.
all that stuff.
Oh wow.
And that was super inspiring. I loved following your journey on there, and to be able to engage with you as the human, as the person. Especially the first time that happened, which we got to talk about offline when exactly that was, because somebody asked me, my girlfriend asked me that yesterday, and I was like, I forget.
It was
Um,
season 8. I know that much. I think it was season
See,
8.
for So You Think You Can Dance.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, yeah, to be able to meet you in person, man, is also a blessing. You know, sometimes people who you are looking up to from afar, when you get close, you're like, ooh, why did I look up to them? And so
Oh
to
yeah.
be able to see the human and know that the human is better closer than they were far away, is a
Oh yeah.
blessing. So yeah, man, I just needed to also say that in addition to all the great things that you're doing. So welcome
That's
to the
crazy.
Good Foot Podcast, man.
Well, thank you. And that's crazy because I always wondered how we know each other. Like you'd be talking to people and just communicate, but how did we even get to know each other? And it's like, yeah, I never realized that was the first time you even saw me. That was an interesting time. Um, that was an interesting time, but it was also one of those times that I didn't realize was yeah, just the seed that was being planted for where I am now, because I was
Hmm.
never supposed to. Just a little quick little side story. I was never supposed to maintain the name Professor Locke. Popcorn was the name I was supposed to maintain, and I
Right.
actually named myself Professor Locke to protect the popcorn name, because if people don't know, in Hollywood, especially those type shows, whatever name you go on that show with, after you're done the show, especially if you get to a certain point, they
Mm,
own it for about 2 years, maybe. I
yeah,
think
that's
max,
smart.
depending on what show it is. And so
Mhm.
I found that out early. And so I was actually protecting the original nickname, which was Popcorn, but ended up Professor Locke being the name. And true to form, because in hindsight, when I look back at it now, my mission and my purpose in life was always to be a teacher. So
Mm,
there you go.
there it is. There it is. You spoke it into existence without even technically
Without
knowing at that
even
moment.
knowing.
Yeah,
No,
that's
yeah.
crazy. That's crazy. And I want, let's just start there since we're there. It doesn't have to be a side convo.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, you've been a performer for a super long time. I don't even know how long, so I'm curious just about getting your take
Oh,
on what your performance journey has been.
yeah.
But even the so you think you can dance aspect, specifically, and being on certain platforms like that, I'm curious for our audience and for myself, like what did it take from you? Who did you have to be in order to accomplish what you accomplished on there?
Yeah. It's funny because first of all, I've been doing what I'm doing, just to answer that question. I mean, we're close on 2 decades now, if not 20 years. So yeah, I'm 20 years in the game, and really starting to reach the pinnacle of what I'm capable of through dance now. 1 year away from 40, you know? So
Woo, come on now.
yeah, that's crazy. But
That's crazy, right?
that's crazy. But yeah, but yeah. So, you know, long story short, really what it took was me being 100% myself. And not just, and see, everybody says this, right? They say be you. What they don't tell you is be you according to where you are in life in that moment.
Mm,
So, and those are very different things. And I learned this and then was able to look back and realize that from a scripture in Philippians I read one time, where that said, only live up to the truth that you've attained. And
mm,
so at that point, I was in a place where I was just trying to escape.
mm-hmm,
So I didn't really have any kind of
mm,
preconceived ideas or anything. I was just trying to escape. I was just like, yo, I don't want to be in Jersey anymore. So let me get out of let me get out of here, yo. And I just went up there and just did what I always knew from being around with my crew, Face to
mm-hmm,
Flave and the Hood Lockers, was just being me. So I just took what I did at the club and just did it on the stage.
right.
And I was 100% who I was at that time, in that time period. And so, and the reason why I say 100% who I was in that time period, because I went and auditioned again for the next season,
Uh-huh.
and I tried to duplicate.
Mm,
I tried to be myself, but I was still being myself, but I tried to be myself that season 8 myself, or the last season myself,
right.
and I wasn't there anymore.
Mm,
So I was still being myself, but I was in a sense not being myself. I wasn't
right.
being true to where I was at in that period. So you have to be very not only do you have to be very well prepared, because I was very well prepared as a freestyle dancer. So it was the improv I
Right.
did in that audition that got me the golden ticket to straight to Vegas. Um, I was prepared, like extremely prepared for that moment.
Mm. And
I
when you
was
say you were prepared, what do you mean by that? Like what prepared
because
you? What were you
I
doing?
had suspenders on, and in the middle of what I was doing, the suspenders popped off, and then I just used them in the moment, and I used
Mm,
them, and it became like almost like a magic Mike ish type performance for what's her, and then I just stared, what's her, I forget her name now, the female judge at that time, and I,
Mary.
yeah, something like that, but I just stared her down while I was twirling my suspenders that popped off, and just and use that as a part of the a performance, so I never missed a beat. But
Right.
as in the freestyle circle, as you know, you're used to that. That's what it takes. So I was prepared in that sense. I wasn't prepared for the next season and what it
Okay.
took to come back as somebody who already auditioned before,
Mm.
and that was a whole different thing. So yeah,
Yes,
two
that's
things.
dope.
So
Because
two, yeah.
go ahead.
No, I was just saying this. So the two things is one, preparation. Um, be prepared within your craft. Be prepared for the task that you're taking on, and then the last thing, which is the most important thing, is be who you are and present in that moment.
Right, right. No, that's dope.
You
Thank
know,
you for that. The when you say that you weren't prepared the second time, looking back on it on hindsight, what do you feel like you would have done? Because obviously you were still a freestyler, you still had that
yeah.
experience. What would you have? What advice would you have given yourself pre the second audition that you feel would have made you more prepared for that?
I would have told myself to do what you did last time, because the last time I literally went on that stage and got busy, like, and get busy in the New York cipher terminology. Like I went
Got
up
you.
there, I knew what song I wanted to dance to, and then after that, I just got busy. I had an idea of what I wanted to do, but I got busy. I was ready for whatever the song would have told me to do in that moment, you
Got you.
know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was submitted to the groove while at the same time being present in what the task was. Um, and I was a little bit more, and I was also hungry in a different way. I was trying to escape.
Mm-hmm.
So the second time, I was already living in LA at that point because I stayed in LA. Um, and I was more desperate in that time.
Okay.
Hunger and desperate are two different things. And
Mm.
I was more desperate, and I was doing things that were a bit out of a character, and that started a long journey of doing things that were outside of who Brice was actually,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I was in my dance journey and stuff like that. So, and that stuff reads, when you try to dance like something else or be like somebody else
Mm.
or try to pick the right song. These are all the things that I was doing. Trying to, oh, they like this last time. That's what got me to Vegas. Let me try to do that again. Like all
Right.
that stuff. Don't do that.
Mm. Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. At the end of the day, everything still comes down to being 100% present, vulnerable, and honest. And when you can do that, those things translate, especially in the art world,
Yeah.
way more than things that are contrived,
Right. Right.
or emulating something else that's other than yourself.
Right. And that's something that you were talking a lot about within your TED talk.
Yeah.
And I'm curious about how, like, clearly you had the capability, the skills to tap into that as a performer, as a freestyle dancer.
Mm.
And then it also seems like, even considering you had that capability and that skill, that is something that you had to continue working on to return to. And then it also seems like, as you said, with the Professor Locke and keeping that and the teaching and the educating, that's something that you're bringing forth and trying to extract out of other students of yours. And so, what has been that journey from doing it yourself, losing it and reminding yourself to codify, or maybe not codifying it, but having an understanding it enough to share and emulate and extract from your students?
Mm. It was an interesting way of framing that question. Ask that question again. I'm sorry. Ask it again
Absolutely.
like I'm a third grader.
Absolutely, absolutely.
My
Yeah.
ADHD was like holding on to like all kinds of crazy
What?
stuff.
No, absolutely. Thank you for grounding me back in that. So essentially, essentially, how have you understood that concept of staying present, not trying to be someone else,
Okay.
and
um
sharing it with your students?
it's literally every time I bump my head, recording that and using it as a tool to be able to relate and show people that and show my students and my clients that I understand exactly where they're at because I've been there, and then where I'm at currently, how I got there, how I overcame those things to get to where I'm at currently, because I'm still being, and I'm still continuing on this journey, but I am, and that's the only difference between a teacher or a coach and the client or student is that, we're both still on journeys. It's just that we're a little further in the journey. So I'm
Hmm.
just showing them how I got a little further in the journey, how I was able to get a little further in the journey than where they are right now or where they may be stuck at. Um,
Right.
that
And what those
was
things are for you? What are those things for you?
um, I I battle with deep insecurity, deep rejection issues, um, a lot of different, couple of different traumatic experiences that happened growing up. Um, being emotionally suppressed and things like that to the point of not knowing, how to uh, be in touch with or be myself around people, and just learning how to wear masks and being really
Mm,
good at being manipulative so that I can be what the room needs me to be and what people need me to be, and not or who I think they need me to be so that they'll like me,
mm,
and everything like that. Like I was very skilled, and I'm still very skilled. I just don't use it that way anymore. But was
mm.
very skilled at surviving that way. My whole life was about survival because it wasn't comfortable in my own skin and who I was. So my whole
Right.
life was about survival. So I learned how to survive, and that those while as miserable as those experiences were along the way, and as much peace as I lacked, despite all the achievements, I wouldn't be changing the lives and impacting the lives that I'm impacting now and helping people find their way
Right.
if I didn't go through those things, because I only work in the areas of what I know, and
Mm,
I've been through so much that there's very few people that come across my way that I work with that I haven't been where they're at, and so
right.
I directly relate to them and they can feel that. And
Yeah.
that trust barrier is quickly broken so that we can get to work and get busy.
Yeah. That's dope. I mean, what I'm hearing is that your your knowing of your experience, your history of what you move through allows you to relate to what other people are going through as well. And I
Yeah,
feel like that's,
I
yeah,
heard
go ahead.
I heard somebody say, your story is your glory.
Mm,
And we
like
have to
that.
get comfortable. We have to get comfortable using all of it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
not especially the bad parts, especially the traumatic parts,
Right.
especially the parts where I messed up and hurt people around me tremendously,
Right.
because
Absolutely.
that's we have to be able to use those things because we go through those things, whether we should or we shouldn't have gone through them. That's a different conversation,
Yeah.
but we go through those things, and to get what out of it? Like, if we don't use it for good, if we don't figure out a way to use those things to further not just our lives but the lives of the people around us, then what is it for? Because that's, in my opinion, that's what I believe the purpose of the human experience
Mm, mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
helping
Mm-hmm.
each other move forward based on the things that we've created. you know we
Absolutely.
create constantly. We create good and we create bad constantly, and then what we have to do with that creation of good and bad is take those things and learn how to connect with people through it. And so yeah, we're constantly creating, and what we don't realize is that every day of our life is about creating.
Mm,
And some of the things we create are bad situations. Some of the things we create are good situations. Both of those are opportunities to connect with people. And once we're able to connect with people, then we're able to contribute. And those are the three steps to life that we're doing every day: create, connect, contribute. Create,
mhm.
connect, contribute.
That's dope. Yeah, thank you for that. And like, how are you taking these beautiful philosophies and creating practices around them to move yourself or remind yourself of these philosophies and
Yeah.
also to help your students?
Well, first things first, I'm only able to do it, to be honest, to be completely honest with you, is because of God Himself. Like the things He took me, like the fact that I'm able to do that is because do these things and achieve these things and serve people in this way is because of Him. Because I didn't have to come out of what I came out of on the right side,
Hmm.
or
Amen.
necessarily even still be here alive today. So that's number one. Number two is that just really meditating on everything. Meditating on not just meditating on the word, but just meditating on my life and the lessons that I've learned, and everything that I use to help is you know is through dance, through the lens of dance. And I have a story around that, actually. So my whole entire career, I was trying to, for the better part of my career, I was trying to be a famous dancer. Let's just keep it honest. I was trying to be that dude that what the twins are. That's what I was trying to achieve.
Right.
That wasn't my destiny. That was not my purpose. And I couldn't achieve, and I kept hitting a wall because I was trying to fight for something that wasn't mine to have.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of that fight, a lot of scenarios happen. Not winning that fight and constantly hitting the wall taps into, and coupled with my deep insecurities, rejection issues, and the traumas that I haven't dealt with, and the mask that I wear. Ultimately, long story short, I hit rock bottom in a very bad way. And I blame dance. I thought dance was the problem, and I had a conversation with God one day, and I was like, "Listen, man, like I really wasn't having a relationship with Him, at this point. But I grew up in the church, and things like that. But I didn't really have a relationship with Him, and so I was just like, listen, if you are who you say you are, then either the way I see it is I'm facing two roads. I'm either going to go down this road I'm on and just commit to it and be 100% the foul, messed up dude that I am currently right now,
Mm-hmm.
or you're going to show me how to walk down the other path. Because the other path, I have no idea how to walk down that path.
Mm.
And then I went to sleep. I was in tears, and then I went to sleep. And then honestly, I woke up the next day feeling completely new.
Mm.
Like my weed addiction was completely gone.
Wow.
My porn addiction gone, and my drinking
Mm.
gone. All of those things, I did not have any desire, and I was waking and baking like crazy. All those things went away. So right then and there, I felt like that was a signal to let's get to work.
Right.
So then I
Right.
was like,
Right.
all right,
Right.
I hear you. Let me learn more. And see, it wasn't a religious thing for me. It was like, okay, let me figure out who the heck you are. Like, let me learn more about you. Like, because I don't go to there's no real churches to go to out here. So it wasn't that for me. Like, I'm literally just looking at the facts and the things that I'm reading and putting two and two together, and this, that, and the third, and just like, wow, yo, like this is what you're doing in my life. This is what you've done in my life that I didn't even realize. Holy crap. So my first instinct was, oh, I need to throw dance away because this dance industry is horrible. Like I can't be partners with you. That's how I looked at it back then. I was like,
Right.
I can't be partners with you and then be in this industry. So I thought I
Right.
had to get out the industry. So I stepped away for about a year.
Okay.
And in that year, I was just focused on healing, like, uh, first and foremost, spiritually, getting to know who I am, all those things. And then after a year, and I was not even thinking about dance, but then after a year, I got a message to do this workshop.
Mm.
And it just so happened it was in a period where it was kind of rough and I needed money. And so I was like, you know what? I need the money. Let me go do this.
Yeah.
So I did it. And because I see life through the lens of dance, everything I was reading in the scriptures, I was equating it to dance. And so I was learning how to take the things in the scriptures and use that to teach more clarity around how to learn dance. So it wasn't like I was like, don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting here preaching and telling people, yo, in Matthew chapter 5, and this is how we dance, where it was just
Right.
like the wisdom, the principles and stuff like that. I was like, yo, this makes sense. So how does this apply to every other aspect? So I was applying it, and I found out that I was more clear on what people needed in order to achieve their dance moves. And what also started to becoming clear to me was that um, what we need to achieve our dance to achieve the growth in our dance, the same things that we need to achieve growth in our life.
Yeah.
And so I started talking on that in a very baby infant stage form,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
compared to how I do it now.
Yeah.
And so afterwards, because I always do a talk at the end and Q&A and all that stuff. So afterwards, this guy comes up to me and says, yo, I really like what you were saying. It really was inspiring. I was like, oh, cool, man. And he was like, he was like, you should do a TED Talk. I was like, I was like, yo, I love TED Talk. That would
Yeah.
be dope. I don't see that happening though, because I'm just a hip
Mm.
hop dancer.
Mm.
You know what I
Just a
mean?
hip hop dancer. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how still saw myself back then.
Totally.
And we're gonna get to that whole identity part of that. But so he was like, no, 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 I'm dead serious. He's like, my wife, she's one of the people, she's one of the volunteers for TED Talks. I'm going to give her your information. I was like, all right, whatever. I didn't think anything was gonna happen.
Totally.
About a week later, I get a email that they want to have a Skype meeting with me. We have a Skype meeting, and they say, okay, give us your spiel. And like, I'm like, what you mean? Like, they're like, just what would you do for the audience? How would you get us interested in what you have to say? And
Mm.
so I got I got them up. I had them dance. I had them bounce, doing the deep bounce, as Moncel calls
Oh,
it,
okay. Okay.
or the drop bounce. And then and I was explaining to them, you know, getting settled in this and being patient and getting settled in this moment right here before making a move, before taking any steps. Just get locked in here so that
Mm-hmm.
everything can just start to begin to flow naturally instead of feeling forced.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what else I said. It was something similar along. But anyway, long story short, they were like, "Yo, we like it. We want you to do TED Talk." And I was like, "Oh shoot!"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So then I found out that it's a 6 month writing boot camp that they put you in. Um,
Oh,
s-
snap.
oh yeah. It's a six.
I didn't know
Everybody
that.
who does a TED Talk goes through a 6 month writing boot camp because again, this is a business.
Yeah.
So they got to make
They
sure
have a
that people.
reputation to uphold.
Yeah, they got to make sure people go up there and do their thing. They even have somebody on the side in case you forget. Like the editors are brilliant because you don't even see, you can't even really see where they're editing people's mistakes out or their pauses and you don't even see that.
Right, right.
But so yeah, that whole 6 month process, I felt like God was using that as a way to really work with me in unpacking what I had to say because that was
Mm-hmm.
going to set the path for me in my purpose.
Right.
I'm talking in hindsight. This is not what I thought then. Because
Of
actually, in
course.
that point, during that 6 month period, I got afraid about halfway through that I wasn't doing the right. I would sound like an idiot and too
Mm.
deep and philosophical. So I just completely scrapped what I was writing and then gave them something talking about how hip hop is so much influence that it's even in the economy and blah all this other stuff.
Oh,
And
wow.
they
Oh,
looked at
wow.
me at the round table was like it was like an easy path. And they were looking at me at the
Mm.
round table like
Not what you were selling.
this is not why we wanted you. Like this right here, you need
Right.
to go back.
Yeah,
So
good for them and good for
I
you.
went back and I actually prayed and I went back and I was like, look, I don't know what to do, man. I just started writing and I sent them something and they were like, this is it.
Mm.
And she sent it through all the checkers and they were all like, this is it. So on the day of, it comes, because mind you, we're running through it, running through it, running through it, running through it. So I had this thing memorized. And then the day of
Hmm.
comes, my turn, and I start to talk and my voice cracks. And me getting insecure about my voice, and you hear it. You actually hear it if you listen. If you
I
watch the TED Talks in
I
the
have
beginning,
watched it. Yeah,
yes, you hear it
a
in the
little
beginning.
bit,
I say, "What's
barely.
up?" Yeah,
Yeah,
but
you're
it was
like,
enough.
that's a
It was
horrible way to
enough.
start.
It was enough for me, exactly, but it was enough to trigger my insecurity.
Mm.
And even though I caught it with that's a terrible way to start, that's just me
Which
being really good
everybody
at,
loved.
but that's just me being good at the masks. See, and this is where all those things that I learned because of just insecurity, trauma, etc., benefited me.
Right,
But at the same time, I'm in my mind in that little what 2 seconds.
right, yeah.
What happened was I went back to what I knew best because I was talking about dance. So I was like, I'm gonna just freestyle,
Mm.
and I just started talking. And a dude was on the side with my script trying to get my attention so he can get me back on
To
track.
come back on. Mm.
But I wasn't. I was just going. I didn't even look his direction. I was just going and going and going and like literally
Yeah.
like. And then I'm done. Audience claps, people standing up, and then he comes over to me sweating like I was trying so hard to get your attention. He was like, but then I started looking and I realized that even though you were saying different things, you were still on track.
On the essence, right. Yeah.
He was like, I don't know how you did that. And
That's so fascinating because it's like, I mean, it feels exactly what you were talking about in regards to the so you think you can dance situation and preparedness and everything like that.
yeah,
It's like you did 6 months of working on this
yeah,
thing, and it felt like there had to be something to kind
yeah,
of get you out of the preparedness stage and be like, okay, I'm in this moment right now,
exactly.
and trust that the 6 months of preparation would come out as you're
Exactly.
being present. Yeah,
And that's exactly what happened. And it had to be that way. The way it happened, it had to be. Because when I watched it
for
back,
sure.
I saw and learned some things that I was like, oh shoot, I never even thought about that. That just came in that moment. Like, and I started
Right.
realizing that, and and afterwards they send you to this room where people can talk to you, afterwards. And so
Mm,
people were coming up to me and they have this board where people write their feedback or their comments, and like everybody was like, I'm gonna go back to work and get in my groove. I got to talk to my boss about a promotion. I'm gonna make sure I get in my groove before that happens. Like
mm,
it translated.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that's when I realized I am not here to teach people how to dance. I am here to use dance to teach people how to be the best versions of who they are and discover actually who they are. Because your groove is always, whether it's good or bad, your groove is always, and this is my definition of groove, the outward physical expression of the internal condition. This is why
The
you have to
outward
always be
physical expression of the internal,
yep,
the internal
internal
condition.
yes.
I
And
love
that's why
that.
you have to always be present. And so when you understand it in that way, then you understand how you start to understand that, oh, this is how I can get in my groove at the office. This is
Hmm.
how I can get into the groove in my relationship. This is how I can get into the groove with raising my kids. This is how I can get into the groove. Whatever it is, you can you get into your groove first.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
Hmm.
everybody's felt that. Like you be those somebody listening to be at work and they just have a day where they just everything just hitting. They getting out the emails, they closing deals, and it's just effortless because you in your groove.
Mm, hmm.
And that's all it is being present, but being intentionally and actively present in yourself. Because when we hit it in spurts, we're not in we're not actively present. We just happen to lock in that
Hmm.
moment,
Hmm. Hmm.
but when you're intentionally, actively always just checking and being in conversation with yourself, you give yourself the opportunity to just always be in your groove, or you
Hmm.
give yourself the opportunity to be able to choose to be in your groove, because oftentimes we're faced with that choice, and sometimes we don't want to be in our groove because our ego is like, no, this is what I want to do.
Mm.
That's But now I'm starting to go on a tangent, but ultimately,
Yeah.
that's, I don't even know what the original question was, but
Hey, we took us
ultimately
everywhere
this
we
is how
needed to go.
everything came to play. That TED Talks experience was the experience that was designed in my life for me to get to help me realize what I'm here to actually do.
Right, right.
Because that was the moment where I realized I am a teacher, I'm a guide.
Hmm.
I'm not supposed to be on everybody's stage.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. Heard.
I'm
Okay,
supposed to
okay.
teach other people how to be the person and see and realize their potential, how to discover their potential and use it to be that person,
Yes, yes. Okay, I have a couple of questions.
to be on
So
that stage,
one,
whatever it looks like, whether it's on, yeah, go ahead,
so the
go for it, hit
first
me.
one is how what once you come to that realization that okay, I'm purpose to be the person who inspires people to discover their holistic potential
Yeah,
through the context of dance
yeah.
versus being the lay twins all over the world and on tours and everything like that. Once you came to that realization, what did you have to do in order to really embrace it? Because for me, there's something there there's a growth process to that. Even though
Oh,
there's a
definitely,
realization at first, there's like, oh, I
definitely.
have to let go of what I thought was the achievement and really
Yeah.
embrace what I'm realizing now. So what's been that journey and what practices have you engaged with to embrace this new purpose?
So to sum it up in a phrase, selfless help. Understanding
Selfless help.
how to teach people about selfless help. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because I was on a self-help journey like crazy.
Mm,
Um, but the self-help journey is like a wolf in sheep's clothing, because what it does is it gets you so focused on you that see you don't really see what other people need.
mm,
You see what you need, and you
mm-hmm,
see what
mm-hmm.
you need to do to get what you need out of people. So it can often be manipulative in the guise of doing something good or nice or
Totally.
beneficial, where,
Totally.
and everybody won't agree with me on that. But the reason why I
Well, this
call it,
is
and
not
here's
you, bro.
so,
This is not you.
but
What are you thinking
but
about?
it no, it's okay. I just know it's a hard concept to receive.
Totally.
So where it changed for me was in the realms of selfless help.
Mm-hmm.
And it started with me first. So my groove, let's talk in terms of dance. My groove went from trying to help myself to how can I help other people over and above myself. So in trying to help myself, I'm still posting videos showing people how good of a dancer I am.
How great of a dancer you are.
So they
Right.
can, and then putting nice, putting cute captions, cute motivational captions and stuff like that. But really, I'm just trying to show people,
Yep.
through the guise of motivation, that y'all need to book me, and so I can teach your workshop or talk on your blase blah. That's really what I was doing. Like,
Right.
let's be 100% real. That's what I was doing. I was still,
Yep.
because I was trying to get what I felt I needed out of it. So I was just,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
people were liking it. Oh, that's dope. You're such a good dancer, blah blah blah. And then and and so what happened was, realizing that what people needed was, what really needed to happen was people. There's a whole bunch of people out there who are scrolling on social media, because they feel sad and hopeless and broken and unseen.
Mm-hmm.
And so the scrolling gives them that hit, that dopamine fix, and all those things that they talk about that drugs do to make them just either feel good or numb in the moment.
Right.
And so what I started doing was um, somebody commented, and I wish I remembered who they were, I could find it again because I owe them a lot of credit, you know, and I'm thank God that he put them in my place, in my path. Because somebody commented, I wish there were steps that somebody like me who has no experience dancing could do, or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And I started doing that because the first time I went, okay, the first time I got some traction online and with people in viral was when I
Yeah.
did a dance with one of our teachers at my wife's dance studio,
Okay.
House of Momentum. And
House
so
of Momentum. Shout them out.
and so you know, that I totally missed that cue because that was that sign was, hey, doing stuff for and with other people. It's about other people, not you.
Mm-hmm.
But I missed that.
Mm-hmm.
But then people really started that, but that gave me an opportunity to see what people were really commenting. And then when I saw that comment, I was like, that's when I realized, wow, there's a whole market of people that they don't want to be professional. They don't even want to
Yeah.
kill in a cipher. They just want to go to their
Yeah.
cousin's wedding next week at the reception and feel just confident that they're not going to look like an idiot.
Yeah.
They want their family to stop saying, you can't dance.
Right. You got 2 left feet. Yeah.
Or they want they want to be able to keep up with their husband on the dance floor.
Totally.
It's it's like those type of people. And I was reaching them with my captions, but I wasn't connecting with them. See, I was creating.
Right.
So, and goes back to what I was saying. I was creating without looking for the connection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good.
So now once I started looking for the connection, what the connection was you already know you can dance good, Brice. So instead of trying to show people how good you can dance, show people how good they can dance. And that's when the two-step idea came. And I just started doing the two-step and showing people different ways to do the two-step.
Yeah, that's hot.
Boom. That was that came, and it was like a wave. And then one day I needed something to write. And I was just like, have you danced today?
Mm,
And people
that's
loved
good.
it.
Yeah.
People loved it.
Yeah.
It was almost as if I was their accountability buddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's when all of and also in my workshops, developing more and more on top of the essence of the TED Talk, and just all of that coming together, creating what Professor Locke truly is supposed to be,
Yeah.
which is basically your neighborhood hope dealer. Like, I'm here just to make people like, I'm
Not your neighborhood hope dealer.
Yeah, I knew that was cheesy, but I had to use it. But
I love it. Yo, you talking to a cornball, so I was hella into it. It took me a second. It took me a second.
Yeah, I saw
it.
I saw the wheels turning. I saw the wheels turning. But so yeah, it was that. And then and that's what I do. Like, the first thing I do is I make you smile. I bring a smile to your face. I make you feel good in that moment, and genuine goodness.
Right.
Not a fix, like genuine, like, yo, this makes me feel good.
Yeah, let me keep. Yeah,
and then if you want to take it further, now you realize you can learn how to dance. And then if you want to take it further, they hit me up. We do 1-to-1 sessions, and that's where the work really happens.
Yeah, man, that's
where the
gorgeous.
work really happens.
That's gorgeous, man. I love that sense of self-help to selfless help and the
okay, so I
navigation.
you just brought me, see, ADHD, you just brought me back. So
Yeah, that's
um
what my job is.
so so here's where the selfless part comes in. The selfless help part comes in is because I stopped trying to help myself. What really put me on the path of success that I'm on now is I stopped trying to help myself. And I intentionally, every day, with every post, every class, walked into those rooms or hit that post button with the intention of helping somebody else over myself.
Hmm. 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 And how
And
do you
then
have,
the growth just,
because when one thing that I love about what you were saying is that there's bringing back this aspect and this virtue of presence and of observation, of listening, which again, bringing it back to dance is like super crucial in the context of music and the social setting and the cipher, et cetera, et cetera. And it feels like you've extrapolated that virtue and brought it to, okay, let me listen to the people who are getting attracted to the content that I am creating, and let me
yeah,
connect with those people. And
yeah.
so then when you're coming up with this selfless idea, let me give people what they're desiring, what they need. How do you continue to keep your finger on the pulse of that, so that what you're creating is actually what those people want to hear versus your projection of what they want to hear?
Listening, one, listening to them, and then understanding that whenever somebody's coming from a place of lack, they're coming from a couple places. There's only a few places that they can be coming from. They're even coming from feeling like they lack power, they lack pleasure, meaning just feeling good, feeling happy about life and themselves, or money, material things. It's only those three areas that people are feeling lacking. So
Mm,
in understanding that, those are the three pillars within my where I'm posting.
mm, mm-hmm,
And see, all of those things, no matter what part of that you're in, they all start with mindset.
mm,
They all start with how you think, and how you think becomes your belief, and your belief system becomes the way you behave, and your behaviors is what builds your future.
totally.
And
And
so
you
I know
said
that
the places of lack: money, material. What was the last one again?
pleasure.
And pleasure. Money,
Hmm.
material, and pleasure. I like that. Speaking to those things. That's how you're keeping the finger on the pulse.
Exactly.
I love that. I love
It's
that.
and so if you look at that, money, power, pleasure, those things that people lack, um, or health actually, because material is still pleasure. So it's actually health, power, and pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at those three things, they're all lack. These are things that people feel like they're lacking.
Mm-hmm.
And what I get people to realize is that they're actually lacking nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I get them to realize that is like, okay, you think you can't dance. You're telling me you can't dance. You really think you can't dance, and I'm here to show you that you can dance.
That you can,
I
right?
want you to first understand that you can dance because when the music played when you were an infant, you were 1 years old. When that music played, your body reacted. And I know your body reacted because we
Right.
have YouTube videos, hundreds of YouTube videos that is proof of babies reacting. So you got hundreds of YouTube videos of babies reacting to the music. How many
Right.
videos have you seen of a baby stop crying, and then they stop and kind of move when Biggie Smalls hypnotized plays? Like, and it's not like they're doing any kind of particular dance, but their body knows it has to move. My
Yep.
son did it
Totally.
one time, and
Mm-hmm.
that's when I realized it that we're built able to dance.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What change? Everybody on this planet has the potential to dance.
Right.
What changes is that whatever our environment, life experiences, all those things come into play.
Hmm. Hmm.
Whatever those are affects whether we continue to have that relationship with dance and music or we don't.
Right. Right.
And if we lose that along the way, then we become adults and think we can't dance. When
Right.
really we just need to be reintroduced and we need to get ourselves back in the proximity and in the relationship with dance and music that we naturally
Used to
understood
have. Yeah.
as an infant. Because as a baby, you don't understand that they don't even know there's a thing called music, instrument, all that. You don't know that.
Yeah. It's
You
just
know what I mean?
expression, impulse,
Exactly.
energy. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the body or the spirit or the soul, the natural reaction.
What I love about what I'm hearing is this reminder that you lack nothing, that you were born with everything that you need. And for me too, that is a message that Christ and God provide consistently
Yeah.
throughout the Word, and so using that message in the context of dancing, like, hey, here's an example of
Yeah. And so
how you were
I take them
born with everything that you need.
exactly. So we start that. That's like 101. That's where you get you're just like, oh, okay, I see that. Now that you can see that, now your heart, and when I say heart, I mean your view, your perspective of yourself and the world around you has opened up to the possibility now. Now that I got you there, now let's take you to experiencing that. And so we start with very simple. Let's listen to the music. Hear that? I get them to understand different rhythm patterns, full time, half time, double time, all with just clapping. And then and then from there we do exercises that all revolve around the basic drop bounces, the rhythms, and the two step. And then I kind of like guide them to kind of whatever they feel from the two step or the drop bounce, just keep doing it until they feel something. Whatever they feel, begin to go with that. Then what happens is they realize they're dancing. And I'm saying, there you go. See, now you're dancing.
Right.
You don't look like me, but you're not supposed to.
Right.
You're supposed to look like you. And if you can, and as you continue to look like you as a dancer, this is not where you'll always be.
Hmm.
The more things you learn and experiences you have, it's going to grow.
Totally.
And
Yeah.
that is and once they get that, then we go through a process just applying it in other areas of their life
Mm.
and stuff and stuff like that. And so what happens is they start to see that even their if you discovering your purpose is about groove, discovering your gifts and what gifts are yours. It's about groove. And so when you're doing all those things, it's like really just understanding like what take a moment to have inventory of what you're already equipped with. And then once you find out what you're equipped with, then learning how to maximize that first. Maximize the two step. Do everything you can with the two step until you can't find anything more to do with the two step. Because what happens when you empty a cup of water and you're still thirsty? Fill it up.
You need to drink it. Yeah.
No, I mean after you empty it. After
That's all
you've
like
emptied it.
you're gonna
After you've
need a
drunk it.
drink. You're gonna need a
Yeah.
drink.
What happened? Let's do it even simpler. Look at stairs. What happens once you've gotten both feet on stair one? Now you can go to stair two.
Yes.
Everything is about maximizing where you're at and using everything within where you're at so that you can then get to the next level. If you haven't maximized everything that you have and where you're at, you're not equipped to go to the next level.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's all it is. And once you simplify it to that, then you start to understand the same applies at the office, the same applies in relationships, the same applies with your finances. And now you start to realize this is what he means when he says you lack nothing.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
The
Hmm.
only thing you lack is the mindset to get you there.
Yeah.
All problems are majority of our problems are a mindset issue.
Yeah. Majority of our problems are mindset issues, for sure.
Yeah, it's
For
about how
sure.
we think
That's
about
beautiful, man.
ourselves.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so
I
and so
mean, and like,
once
go
I
ahead.
get them past that, then they start to experience what real freedom is.
Hmm.
That's when they
Hmm.
start to experience the freedom. And so that's all it is, man. It's really just like tapping into this is what you think about yourself. So of course you're not going to be able to dance. You don't think you could dance. You're believing the lies. You're
Hmm.
believing the lies of your parents who don't even know you, or your family who they don't know you. You don't even know you. So what makes you think
Mm,
they know you?
totally.
Come on, man, let's dance because you can. And here's how. Let's go. Boom. See that? See what you could do? You could drop bounce. You didn't even know you could do that.
Right. Right. So what else can you do? Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Exactly.
No, it's a beautiful foundation that you are excavating and creating and co-creating. Um, and as you say things like we have everything that we need, and let's just start with what we have. And then how do we um innovate from that place of wealth and abundance? Okay, we can have it. We have a two-step. We have a
Yep.
bounce. How do we innovate and create with that thing that we already have? I think that's something for, yes, the people who perceive themselves as not being able to dance. And I think that that is also for people who can dance, who perceive themselves as dancers and
It's
professional
across the board.
dancers.
It's
It's
across
really,
the board.
it's absolutely across the board. And for people who are like myself, who are looking at lay twins or looking at people in the American Ballet Theater and et cetera, et cetera. It's like also considering these options too of how do we serve people through this kind of education. There are so many people in our world who have just forgotten, who have listened to societal norms to tell them to get out of their body, right? And it's like these are
Hmm.
people who are yearning to get back in their body and just don't know how yet. And so, just as a professional pathway, like that is something that you're creating and cultivating and forging over there in Denmark. And so, thank you for doing that work and inspiring us to have that as an option for ourselves as well.
Yeah. And
Um,
also
yeah.
just as to that point, and just real quick, when you look at the twins, when you look at everybody that you're looking at, or anybody who's achieving in the field or reaching heights in a field that you want to reach, whatever field it is, understand that their life has brought them to that point. Their experiences, their knowledge, all those things has brought them to that point. Yours, your life, your experiences will bring you to that point when it's time. And some if you're stuck, if you feel stuck, you might not have maximized the place that you're in right now. That's all.
Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm.
And just
Absolutely.
understand that things don't always success. Success doesn't It's just sometimes harder than you want it to be, takes longer than you expect it to. But when you stick to it, the reward is beyond anything you can actually ever imagine.
Thank you for that reminder, man. Absolutely. I totally resonate with that. And so context switch just a little bit is
Yeah.
location and where you live and how that's impacted your version of success and how you've shifted from this performance driven mindset and behind music artists or at the Super Bowl to engaging and inspiring all different types of people, especially ones who perceive themselves to not be a dancer. How
Yeah.
has the USA moved, like living in Jersey, Philly, New York, to going to Denmark? How has that shift impacted this purpose shift?
Well, this shift was a part of it, and just for time's sake, I'm gonna make it uh, try to give as much as I can and as quick as I can. But
For sure.
Denmark is a different kind of place that doesn't worship you because your resume is amazing. They also consider, do I know you? What do I know about you as a person? Things like that before I choose to work with you. As much as as an ego bruise and those things were, because people weren't jumping to hire me, regardless of if I was hip hop, black, from the states, whatever, don't matter.
Yeah.
And long story short, that was a part of the that was a part of the rock bottom lesson that I'm glad I learned. I think moving to Denmark is another, and my family and my wife and everything was a part of the path, because everything that I've experienced here in Denmark, and being in Denmark just in general, is what played a major part in where I'm at today. I don't think I would be where I'm at today if I wasn't here. Um, so that shift was something that was a struggle, but much needed, much needed,
Absolutely. Yeah.
much
Thank you
needed.
for naming that.
I wish some of the things would have happened different, but at the end of the day, like I said, I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for it.
Exactly. Yeah. I appreciate you saying that. It feels like the shift of environment and the newness, the culture shock, the what I'm perceiving as like a discomfort
Yeah.
of that culture shift um has led you to the blossoming of your purpose and of your brand
Yeah.
now. So yeah, that's super dope. Okay, we're gonna go and shift into some small little segments to end here.
All
Firstly,
right.
do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I do actually. What is what's the thorn in your side when it comes to your purpose? What do you battle with, or fear, or what knocks you off track from time to time?
I'm like, where do I begin? I think the one of the biggest things is wanting to be recognized and loved and admired
Hmm.
um, from a multitude of people, meaning that I am admired and I am loved, and um, but my mind goes, I need more because that admiration and that love will, or the more of that will lead to me being able to make this business happen, more
Hmm.
finances and stuff like that. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm constantly in a place of what we were talking about, that I am exactly where I need to be. And my job is to obey and listen to what's on my heart to create and to reach out and connect to the people who God's calling me to do that with without an expectation of reciprocation. Just do the thing and let God do the
Yeah.
work from there. So yeah, I would say that's probably one of the biggest thorns in the side is wanting to be in community, so much so that it can impact how I'm feeling and can impact what I'm creating
Yeah.
and how I'm moving towards my purpose.
Cool. The best way to
Yeah,
get
man.
there, we've already talked about it now, but the best way to get there is constantly put your mind, especially when you're in those trigger points. Constantly put yourself in the mindset, actively beat those trigger points out your system with the mindset of, who do I need to serve? You
Absolutely.
can't
Absolutely.
you can't be out for yourself and trying to serve somebody, genuinely to serve somebody at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I literally have on my year board, my 2023 year board, serve the kingdom. And so
Exactly.
that putting that as a centralized
And
demographic.
speaking of serve the kingdom, you know, man, if nobody ever loves or praises you, you're already loved.
Yep,
Like you're
exactly.
already, and that's the beauty of it. Like you already loved, you know, by the one person that can't change, that can't change that.
Yep,
And that is the most reliable, you know, most trustworthy person that you'll ever have in your life. And so you got to remind yourself of that too, man. Just
yep,
remind yourself who you are, man. You're a kingdom citizen, and you operate in
yep,
that. You operate in that authority, not in your own authority.
exactly. Yes, we are. We are for sure. It's a
Yeah,
blessing to be in that society with you, man. All right,
love
so
it.
let's get to some fast footwork questions. Just what book
Yep.
has been most impactful for your life recently?
Well, the current book I'm reading right now is there's two actually. There's Rediscovering the Kingdom by I mean not Rediscovering the Kingdom, Understanding Your Potential by Dr. Miles Monroe. And then the other book I'm reading is the Book of Five Rings.
Okay,
Um, the
by
Book of Five
Miyamoto
Rings.
Musashi.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, good one.
That book is just I'm reading that book to really sharpen my skills as a teacher and
Nice.
just being even getting even better at breaking things down um, from level 0 to 1. Like that's my job. My job is to get you from 0 to level 1.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah, the Miyamoto Musashi is just such a good book. It revolutionized the way I look at spirit. So
Exactly.
yeah, I'd love to talk to you about that more later. What does our dance field need more of to achieve your vision of our communal ideal?
In order for me to achieve my vision, I don't think it needs. I think it needs to be exactly where it is because the fact that wherever it is right now is what's fueling my mission.
Absolutely.
So
And
yeah,
who,
not it doesn't need to do anything for me. It just needs to be exactly what it is because
yeah,
it's doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing.
mm-hmm. It's beautiful. And lastly, who do you want to hear from on the Good Foot podcast?
Hmm.
I mean, we are looking to serve and connect people with in a network of dancepreneurs. So dance fans, dance artists, dance professionals, people who are intersecting dance and entrepreneurship to create forge their own path of liberation. So
Hmm.
in that concept, there's plenty of people who could
Yeah, yeah.
touch up outside of dance.
You know what? I'm actually want to go live with him one day, but I think it'd be good. The homie, Tony Czar.
Mm, word. Yeah. I haven't
There's a
heard his
story
name for
there.
a while.
There's a story there. Rashad Hassani. That's another one.
Okay.
That's another one. I would
From
say,
NDC?
yep. I would say
Yeah,
those
we
two.
talked. Okay. Yeah, those are
Those
great
two.
ones. That are great ones. Absolutely. I'll have to reach out to them. All right, man. Thank you so much. This has been
No
good. This
doubt.
has been good. Yeah. I mean, the gems, man, just dropping like freaking rain. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. There's so many
No
things
doubt.
to eat on and chew on and digest and
Yeah.
marinate with
You can never get it all out in
for
one go.
sure. And just as an exchange, how do we keep up with you? How do we support you
Inst-
in these
uh,
days?
Instagram is how you can keep up with me. Um, yeah, man. The best way to support me is either there's two things I do. if you know somebody who struggles with confidence in dance or wants to learn how to dance and never tried it before, send them my way. I guarantee within 30 days they'll be able to dance. Number two, if you don't know anybody but you really dig what I'm doing, then please you can consider even sending, because not everybody can afford it, even though I try to make it as affordable as possible, but you can
Right.
always donate or pay the cost of what it would cost for a session with me that I can give somebody for free. So you can also pay it forward. You know, if you're just like, if you've just been blessed to really dig what I'm saying, and you can also pay it forward. Just hit me up. My Instagram handle is right here. Just hit me up, and we can work that out. So yeah, you could either pay it forward to make the next session for someone free, or if you know somebody or you yourself, just hit me up, and we'll make it
Absolutely.
work.
Absolutely.
That's
Y'all
it.
please
If nothing
listen
and
to that
nothing else, and then nothing else, just share my profile.
for sure. Share
Share
the
my
word.
Instagram with somebody. That's it. Exactly.
No, I was just saying that we at the OnQ company would love to move towards that support, man, and just give to your mission, so somebody who wants to grow in that confidence and get back in their
Yeah.
body in this way can do that for
And if
free.
yeah,
That's the
and just
beautiful
so you
thing.
know, you'll know for sure that if you do decide to pay it forward, then anytime somebody pays it forward, I announce it in my stories so that people know, so that I'll say, hey, a session has been paid forward. So anybody who wants to have a free session with me, your opportunity is now, and the first person. So it'll be first come, first serve, whatever. But I always make an announcement about it so that people can, take advantage of the opportunity. So you will know that it is going towards that and everything like that as well.
That's dope, man. Dude, appreciate you taking your time, especially in this Christmas and holiday season, to be with us.
Yeah, man.
You definitely
And
dropped
now I
many
gotta
gifts
get back to the
upon us. So
duties.
yeah, do the thing, be the great father and husband that you are, and we'll talk to
Yeah,
you soon.
I'll try. No doubt, man.
All right,
Peace
brother.
out, y'all.
Peace.